Hey, it's September 15th, 2019. This is Dr. Gratu Orloff broadcasting from my cave of rock and roll records and comic books that I am trying to organize, still trying to since last summer. Um, I had, Friday night was a full moon and it was Friday the 13th, but I didn't have bad luck. I actually had good luck the whole day. It was an amazing day. I actually have an old friend from college I've known since the mid 80s, and he's downsizing, moving to he just restored a big mid century house, like perfectly. He wound up in magazines with how well it turned out, and now he's got to move closer to work. And so he says, "Well, I'm downsizing my hoard." And he has a lot of stuff, a lot like me. And I always known him as a record collector, and we shared interest in records, but we never really talked about it. But when he was younger, he was a comic collector in late '60s, early '70s, and he would order from those ads in the back of comic books. There was a guy named Robert Bell that used to advertise, and he made himself look like Thor, and he had little B, the letter B, all over his uniform. And he sold old comic books from somewhere, so he would order a lot. In fact, he told me that on the day of the moon landing, he wasn't even interested in man landing on the moon because he'd just gotten a box from Robert Bell. But anyway, he was getting rid of a lot of stuff, and he just and he sold off some like his whole X-Men collection through an auction house and wasn't happy with how he got treated. And he said, "Here, I'm just going to give you. Here, you can just have my whole Avengers collection because I know it's going to go to a good home." So I was going to do one of those unboxing YouTube videos here. And this is the box he gave me. And I'm going through it for the first time. And let's see what we've got. So the bags are old. I'm going to have to rebag these. It looks like we've got Avengers 13. And then we've got Avengers 14. Oh, that's too much light. How do we... Okay, maybe this is a better angle. Okay, there's 15, 16. He told me these are just reading copies, but this is amazing to me. 17. Here's 18. 19. And it's actually in its Robert Bell bag. Let's see, is this Robert Bell? Let's see. Yeah, Robert Bell, box 18, Hauppauge. I don't know how to pronounce that in New York. I read an interview with him, I think in the Comics Journal, years ago. He was kind of notorious, and people made fun of him because he said that having tape on a comic book was not considered a flaw. Here's a beautiful cover. That was when Marvel briefly was Marvel Pop Art Productions. And we've got 21. Looks like this is a complete run up through the early 70s. I've got Christmas music playing even though it's September because it's like Christmas morning. Well, that's not really the reason, but it sounds good. Okay. Let's see, running out of power on my phone. I already had this issue, but I don't have a lot of the Silver Age Avengers. I started collecting in the early 70s, but I guess I do now. This is such a wonderful gift. Okay, we're up to issue 30 now. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. You know, in the early 70s, the only way to get older comics was garage sales, used bookstores, or mail order. It wasn't here locally in the summer of '77. Lone Star Comics opened up in a little tiny shop across from a disco. There's the first vision. And then I was able to get older comics, but before then it was, and you know, my mother, when I was real little, I would have had a much better collection, but my mother did not. You know, she grew up in the Depression, and she frowned on me buying anything used. That was like not a good thing. And she said, if you buy something used books, you'll bring book lice into the home, and then they'll eat all your books. That's what she told me, and I don't know. So she didn't want me buying old books, or, you know, I would have been able to amass an amazing collection at that time period. Okay, now the books at this point aren't bagged. Looks like for a ways here. So we got 66, 67. I'm going to spend part of the afternoon rebagging these and bagging some of them for the first time and boarding them. Okay, up to issue 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. It's hard on the back. Okay. Okay, it was 86, so we've got 87. Black Panther Origin, 88. 89. Yeah, my friend kept his Spider-Man collection, and he kept his Captain Marvel collection, and he was in his adventure comics with the Legion of Superheroes in the 60s. Those are the ones he's keeping. But yeah, he just gave me this completely. This is just an amazing gift. This is Okay, so we move into the 20-cent era, which is when I really started to buy superhero comics. I was born in 1965, and I was mainly as a little kid, you know, I started with Harvey Comics, and then I moved to horror. I'd buy Tomb of Dracula, anything horror related. And then I think my mom bought me a Spider-Man comic as a gift when I was sick one day, and I didn't really read it. I wasn't really into superhero comics, and then I bought the Marvel Treasury edition of Fantastic Four. I think the second Marvel Treasury edition, and was so amazed by it. I went back and read the Spider-Man comic that I had, and then I started buying Marvel like unbelievable quantities and joined that Foom club, and which I still have the poster here. That's my original poster I had framed. So anyway, my friend's about 8 years older than me, so he was aware in the 60s and buying comics. So we're up to 106, and we're coming up to when I started to buy Avengers comics. I think, let's see, I think my first issue of the Avengers must have been around a 120 or something. I remember getting that when my dad took me to the PX at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. 112, 113. I remember the cover, it was purple cover. 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123. Okay, now they're bagged again. 124, 125, 126, 127. Ah, yes, this is the first issue of the Avengers I ever bought. So I have another copy of that. 128, so here's 129, which I don't have. 130, 131, I have that issue. It had Frankenstein monster on it. 132, 133, 134, 135, 136. I have that issue. I remember buying that in Tacoma, Washington. 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, I have that, 142, and last but not least, 143. So that was the amazing gift that I received Friday night. I'm going to ring off simply because my battery's about to die, but let me charge it. I'll be back with more videos this afternoon. Take care. Bye.